Dominance, longevity, respect, transcendence among generations. The gold standard in his field. A wife that also happens to be an industry colleague and much younger than him. This is...
Allow me to reintroduce myself. My name is
The Undertaker. For year after year and decade after decade, The Undertaker didn't just show up. He delivered at such a consistently high level. So much so that he became synonymous with the WWE itself. You can't talk about the last 30 or so years of professional wrestling without talking about the dead man. And when it comes to hip hop, there's no other figure that holds the equivalent of these distinctions other than Marcy's very own Jay-Z. I'm Nifty Noel, and this is Hip Hop Heavyweights, rap from a wrestling point of view. So lace up your Timbs, step into the ring, and let the breakdown begin. Ever since a young DJ named Clive Campbell gave birth to hip-hop via a 1973 block party in the South Bronx, the genre has given birth itself to numerous stars who would go on to define eras for decades to come. But don't worry, I'm not here to give you a boring hip-hop history 101 lesson. Nah, why would I need to? When one of the genre's greats did it even better than I ever could on his 2009 track, A Star Is Born. In that song, Jay pays homage to all of the greats he's seen come and go over the years, while passing the torch to a future one. Hey, and could I be a star? Does fame in this game have to change who you are? But of course, in typical Sean Corey Carter fashion, as much as the song was a homage to stars of eras come and gone, the song was more of a homage to himself. They come, they go, some real, some faux, some friends, some hoes. His longevity, to be exact. And he's right. Ever since entering the game in '96 and becoming a top-selling rapper with 1998's Volume 2 Hard Knock Life album, Jay-Z's longevity in rap is unparalleled. Sure, technically legends like Rakim and Nas are still dropping gems to this day, but none are commanding the commercial attention a new Jigga album would. But before any of you Jay haters tune out and close this tab, I want to point out that despite this unparalleled run, despite him dominating over multiple eras and scene-stealing guest verses that have been laid, Jay-Z has never been the hottest rapper in the game. I said what I said. But before my Rock Nation brunch invite gets revoked, let's get into why. When Jay entered the game in '96, he was overshadowed by the noise around the decade's premier stars, Tupac and Biggie. Yes, anyone who listened to Reasonable Doubt knew it was the work of someone special, but the now undisputed classic entered silently. As silent as The Undertaker's eerie walk towards the ring when he made his WWE debut at Survivor Series 6 years earlier. Anyone in attendance that night knew they were witnessing something unique, but even Mark Calloway himself couldn't have foreseen that he would go on to become the cornerstone of the company for the next 30 years. Not even a year later, when he won his first WWE title against that era's top star, Hulk Hogan, only to lose it back to Hogan a week later. Not long after, Hogan would make his WWE exit. The top spot was now vacant, as the company ushered in its new generation era. While Taker was undoubtedly a big part of that era, it was Bret Hart and HBK who would trade turns over the top spot for the next few years, while The Undertaker remained close within its reach. Similarly, in the late 90s, hip-hop's throne was now vacant after the untimely demise of Pac and Big. Jay seemed poised to take it, even going as far as to challenge for it on his massively slept on and my personal favorite album of his, 1997's In My Lifetime Volume 1. But it was not to be, because in 1998, DMX barked his way into the scene with 2 back-to-back multi-platinum classic albums. Never one to sit quietly though, Jay did manage to finally become a household name with the second volume of his In My Lifetime series, which to this day is his biggest selling album. DMX's reign was legendary but short, and the turn of the century saw the emergence of the genre's biggest star today, in the form of an angry, blue-eyed, trailer trash white boy who came up in Detroit's battle scene, who after releasing his debut album to controversy, made him only want to keep pushing more buttons. In the late 90s, the WWE was also in the mood to keep pushing buttons, with the genesis of its controversial but most popular period to date, the Attitude Era. At the forefront of this era was another angry, blue-eyed trailer trash white boy who'd go on to become the biggest WWE superstar to date, Stone Cold Steve Austin. Stone Cold didn't have the spotlight to himself for long though, because not long after, a cocky, third-generation wrestler who would prove to undoubtedly be the greatest wrestler in the mic would co-pilot the era with him, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. These two would engage in an electric feud that saw the wrestling industry reach heights in popularity that it's still chasing to this day. And where was The Undertaker during all of this? Still present. A multi-time world champion, in fact. Firmly entrenched in the main event scene and already considered a legend, having reinvented himself by shedding his supernatural gimmick for a more relatable biker image. I mean, what's more relatable than riding a bike to Limp Bizkit? In 2002, Jay-Z was also in the process of reinventing himself. After dropping numerous hits, multiple classic albums, and surviving an epic feud with a legendary rival, he had accomplished all there was to accomplish as an artist and asked himself, what more can I say? He was bored of rap, and so was that era's current champion, Eminem. M also felt like stepping back, decided to send a storm, a hurricane, a tidal wave, one that Jay was able to forecast and warn his team about.
Y'all got a chance right now. Just flood it, put out a lot of music because 50 Cent is coming. And, you know, 4 months later, in the club hit and it was over. And It was just like, okay, now everybody got to sit on the sidelines and wait this tidal wave out.
50 Cent didn't just arrive, he dominated like no other, breaking sales and chart records, with Get Rich or Die Trying becoming the biggest debut hip-hop album of all time. Later that year, Jay-Z swapped the mic for a button-up and decided to fade to black.
50 came through like hurricanes do. I thought I finished this ad to Summer Jam too.
Jay clearly hadn't, and as 50 would continue to absolutely dominate for the next few years, the WWE was hit with its own hurricane in the form of another hulking mass of a man, similar to 50, who would instantly dominate. A man billed as the next big thing, Brock Lesnar. Brock broke all kinds of records and dominated all the top stars of that era, including Jay-Z's WWE counterpart. But just as quickly as Brock came, he was soon out, and the company was left to quickly find its next torchbearers in the form of Batista, Randy Orton, and most prominently, John Cena. By this point in rap, 50's reign was also coming to an end. The sound of rap was changing, and this change required new leaders. Lil Wayne and Jay's own protege Kanye West, who would defeat 50 in a now legendary sales battle in September 2007. But the most evident product of this evolution was a man who was undeniably the son of these two titans. A man who took both Wayne's hard-hitting mixtape approach and Kanye's brand of emotional vulnerability to a whole new level. Drake.
It may not mean nothing to y'all.
Drake will go from hottest rookie to hottest rapper in the game, and will go on to remain the face longer than any other rapper before him. Much like how John Cena would reign throughout the WWE's ruthless aggression and PG eras. And throughout all this, both Jay and The Undertaker remained at the top of their game. Both remained constants, despite never being the guy at any particular point in time. Both remained the last man standing. In order to last a long time, you need to know how to adapt with the times. You need to have foresight. You need to know how to...
Allow me to reintroduce myself.
Both Jay-Z and The Undertaker had rough starts when breaking into the game. When he was just a young upstart in the late 80s, The Undertaker underwent a few gimmick changes, with the most notable one being his Mean Mark Callis moniker while wrestling for WCW, where he employed a fast, agile, traditional athletic approach. However, he was told by one exec, that no one would ever pay to see him fight. Now, this would have been the end of the road for most wrestlers, but the resilient Mark Calaway used this as an opportunity to seek work elsewhere, specifically at the biggest game in town, WWE. After a couple of unsuccessful attempts, Mark managed to nab a meeting with Vince McMahon in his house, of all places, but he was still unsuccessful. Unemployed, at home, plotting his next move, Mark began to grow his hair out as a way to reinvent himself, just in time for the life-changing call that would come out of the blue, in which Vince McMahon would present him with the gimmick that would change his life and professional wrestling forever. He didn't just take on the Undertaker gimmick, he embodied it by changing his previous agile style to a slower, calculated, psychologically driven wrestler. Not too dissimilar to the smooth, slow, confident flow Jay-Z would employ on his debut album, which he self-released after being told time and time again that he wasn't marketable and that people struggled to understand his original, fast, double-time flow. And because he was running around rapping in pink Hawaiian shirts.
Yeah, I saw it. Shrugged the shoulder, said, I can't call it.
Anywho, both men would continue to reinvent their styles over the course of their careers, ensuring they remained around the forefront of multiple regimes.
Friends, some hoes, but no, I goes nowhere. This hole.
And as they did so, both men became more than just legends. They were respected institutions. They had reached a level where their mere presence commanded reverence, with Jay-Z becoming hip-hop's big homie and The Undertaker securing his status as the locker room leader. In wrestling, respect isn't just given, it's earned. And in WWE, no one earned more respect backstage than The Undertaker. He was the measuring stick, the one guy who could check anybody. His word was law. So much so that he became the de facto presiding judge over Wrestlers Court, which is basically a kangaroo court where wrestlers would bitch backstage about the issues they had with each other. Even Vince McMahon himself had to answer to the dead man when he screwed Bret. Sorry, I meant when
Bret Hart screwed Bret Hart.
The Undertaker became so respected that even as he wrestled less frequently in his later years, his appearances became events in themselves, especially at his WrestleMania matches, as he defended his legendary undefeated streak. Similarly, Jay's word in hip-hop became law. He became the guy rappers would go to shift the outcome of legal battles in their favor. In the last decade, Jay-Z, aka Mr. 7 Straight Summers, began to slow down his output, as he focused more on his business pursuits, going on to become hip-hop's first billionaire. So when he did release an album, or even just drop the rare guest verse, it became a bigger talking point than most rappers' albums. In fact, it became the whole talking point of the album the guest verse was on.
Yeah, he just give you that feel, man. He just give you that feel, man. It's just that feel. I don't know what to tell you, man. It's the perfect storm, man.
I love that shit, man.
Perfect storm.
I love it. I love that shit.
Even an invite to the Rock Nation brunch is like getting knighted.
I said, wow, Jay-Z. I said, wow, Jay-Z just smiled.
Well, you actually said that. Wow, Jay-Z.
What up?
There are many successful people in any field, but few who reach this level of reverence. But even legends aren't invincible. And in recent years, both Jay-Z and The Undertaker have shown a side we rarely saw before. Vulnerability.
A third F5 to the Undertaker. Brock Lesnar into the cover, hooks the leg. The streak is over.
Do I find it so hard?
Throughout the majority of his career, The Undertaker was known for just being The Undertaker. We knew next to nothing about the man behind the gimmick. But that all changed with the 2020 release of his Last Ride documentary. Documenting the final years of his career, the series provides an in-depth look into Mark Calaway's life and the insecurities he wrestled with as he aimed to end his career on a high note, despite being way past his physical peak. The documentary starts from 2017 to be exact, the same year Jay-Z released the most vulnerable album of his career, 444. Jay used that album to shed light on various personal issues in his life, his insecurities about fatherhood, his mother coming out as a lesbian, and of course, publicly admitting to the reason Solange boxed him in the elevator a few years prior, his infidelity. It wasn't the first time he would cover his personal life in songs, but it was the first time he built a whole album around such themes. Prior to this, Hov was known for his street smarts. The album was widely acclaimed by the hip-hop community, except for 50 Cent, of course, who hilariously referred to the album as golf course music. Clearly, 50 forgot the memo that Jay-Z is embarrassed by Big Pimpin'. This reinvention only deepened their connection with their fans and further cemented their legacies. Jay-Z, hip-hop's big homie. The Undertaker, the WWE locker room leader. As both men achieved greatness, they became more than just icons. They became the standard. They both outlasted their peers. They both commanded respect across generations. They both became the last man standing. As Hov would tell you,
Hov's a living legend, and I tell you why.
And the same goes for the dead man.
Everybody wanna be Hov, and Hov's still alive.
Well, kinda. What do you think of this matchup? Think you got a better one? Sound off in the comments. But don't forget,
It doesn't matter what you think!